3, 2, 1. Starting transmission. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Super Happy Fun Jabbertron Tea Party podcast with Kiki and Cupcake. Get oneself a nice cup of tea and enjoy the show.
Is there a cupcake under there?
It's freaking cold. Ugh.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh my god, it's fucking cold. It's like 14 degrees. It's the middle of November. You understand that there's 3 blankets on top of me on the bottom of this is a heater? I'm literally under a fucking heat blanket on half power with 3 comforters stacked on top of me. It's that fucking cold. And yes, we are running our heat. We've been running our heat. It's still fucking cold.
I'm sorry, bud.
Oh my god. I'm not sick or anything. It's so fucking cold.
That's Minnesota for you?
Oh my god, is it fucking cold?
You got snow, right?
Yes? Like 6 inches. Would you like some? You can have it. We hate it.
Oh, yes, we would very much like your snow.
Snow.
Well,
In case you think I'm joking, I'm not. It's fucking cold, dude! I ain't doing this for my health. It's fucking... My house is 65 degrees. I'm freezing my balls off.
It's actually 65 degrees in my bedroom right now.
Then I have no idea what the outside temperature... Oh, I know the outside temperature is 14 degrees, but... Oh my god, is it fucking cold! I'm literally sticking my nose above and below my blanket line. You know, at first I thought I was just getting sick. Like, oh, maybe I'm unfortunate enough to catch something. No, it's just cold.
You gonna have to dig out sidewalks or anything yet?
I already did that. It's done.
Okay. I don't know. I live in the land of fire.
Apparently I live in the land of ice.
We lost an entire city.
I saw. You live in a hellscape. Jesus.
Yeah.
They called that a campground fire?
It is the campfire. I don't know why they're calling it that. They have their reasons, probably.
Okay. I guess they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. And then there's the Woolly Fire in Southern California.
Jesus criminy. There's more than one?
Yeah. This one's destroying all the big named stars, places, and a couple of TV sets. The set of Westworld is destroyed.
Right. Why the hell are you guys getting fucking forest fires in November? Jesus Christ. I guess it's dry.
Yeah, because we haven't had any
Rain.
rain yet, but we've had lots of wind.
Please, take ours. It's been raining non-stop since the month started. Now it's just snow. Every day it's snow.
I think we'd rather have snow.
Literally, they're not even done with half of our road projects because normally they have until Thanksgiving to get them done. There's a whole bunch of roads that are only half done that are going to be that way for the next 6 months. Because they can't do any construction with it below 0. Or, below freezing. So,
Yeah.
like, literally a whole bunch of road construction projects are on hold until springtime. We have whole roads that are only half finished because they thought they still had, 2-3 weeks. No one was expecting snow this early. I mean, it's not early. We've had it earlier. But I'm still miserable because normally we don't get snow until after Thanksgiving. It is cold as shit here. Like, we went from it's kind of cold to Jesus fuck, where are my long johns? Like, And the whole thing is, it's not that cold, but that the change has been so drastic so early. Everyone is freezing. God damn, is it cold? Wham. Like, I feel bad because, like, for the most part, this is completely doable. Like, freezing weather, we can handle. We're fucking built for it. But, like, you guys are dealing with, like, hellish weather, and it's so much worse than what we're having. I'm just whining because it sucks being cold. Well, I mean, I'm not cold. I'm warm. I mean, but thank God for modern inventions, i.e., electric blanket. 2 nights ago, I knew I needed it because I woke up. I've had these two regular blankets, and I woke up and I was like literally in the fetal position, like curled up and freezing. It's like oh, and literally, like, I had this blanket already, like, ready. It was sitting at my feet under the desk. But, like, it required me to, take this, like, these upper blankets off so I could pull this up. And I was just too lazy, so I literally just, like, cocooned myself and called it a night. And then, like, last night, for the first time, I actually pulled the blanket up. I actually finally turned this down, finally warm. It only took, like, 3 hours.
Oh my.
Well, I mean, I wasn't cold once it started working. Like, within 15 minutes, I had heat. But I've been, like, fighting off being cold, like, for hours since I got home. Like, and it's not chills. Like, I don't have the chills. It's just, like, chilly. And, of course, my mom's like, heat's expensive. Let's just use heated blankets. I'm like, that's fine. So the house is, like, 60, probably 62 now. This is later.
You want out, Ringo?
Always.
Now that I'm in the middle of something, you want something?
Of course. Oh my god, finally not cold. Ugh.
It's actually a little bit chilly today.
Oh, tell me about it.
We're finally starting to move into that cooler weather, so.
Huzzah.
It's, finally that time of the year for our dry climate.
We're normally, like, way drier, but, like, it's been wet as fuck this year. Like, 2 days of snow this week, and it's only Sunday. Or going to be Sunday. So I guess, technically, the week is starting fresh-ish, depending on who you ask. Or how you cut your calendars. Either it was a snowy week, or it is currently a snowy week.
Mm. So how about the midterm elections?
Yay!
What the hell are you doing, Ghost?
Stuff. He is cat. Prepare thyself.
I don't know where the spray bottle is. Ghost! Damn it, cat. Mm-hmm. Yay!
Woo.
Midterms.
Woo. Hey, at least they weren't canceled. I enjoyed him getting shit on by every political figure across the world for canceling his visit to the World War I cemetery. I don't know what you want to call it. So he could play golf. He's such a fucking dipshit. Well, the weather's inclement, so I'm not going. Instead, they catch him on a golf course.
Yep.
It's like, how fucking stupid are you? I don't say this very often, but Jesus fuck, way to have no tact. We're gonna spend 20 years trying to clean up our reputation with the rest of the world. It doesn't matter who we elect after him. They've got to be better than he has been.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, his own party's talking about running against him in 2020.
I can imagine that.
That's actually starting to come out that other Republicans are going, we have to run against him and we have to knock him off the ticket. It's like, uh-oh. Well, especially since the Democrats took the House.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not shocked that they lost seats in the Senate, because the Senate's just a losing battle right now.
Well, yeah, the Senate is backed by all the gerrymandering to hell.
Right.
So I'm not surprised we didn't do much there.
Right.
But yay, the House.
Right.
Unless we don't do anything with it, then boo.
Right. But it'll slow everything else that's been happening down, because now there's not an absolute majority. Uh-oh. Meow.
We do this every night, cat. So shut up. I'm happy enough with how my state turned out.
My state was fine. Everybody's upset but me about it, but I'm happy with what we got.
Some of the ballots I wanted to go through didn't, but for the most part, what I voted for happened.
Oh, right, your state does ballot reforms? Yeah, we don't do that. But our state is, like, predominantly blue, even though there's red all over the place. It's literally all the districts that are cities are blue and all the country districts are red. So there's just a sphere of... There's 3 spheres of blue and then nothing but red everywhere else.
We're blue enough.
I mean, we're majority blue because that's where the population is. So that's where the most reps are, but it's... The state is blue in the cities and red in the country.
If you looked at us on a map that showed the red and the blue, you'd be confused as to why we aren't red, but it's the population density, like you were saying.
Right. Fuck, I'm shocked that Scott Walker got voted out. I can't even believe that happened. I have a newfound respect for the folks living in Wisconsin that they actually had enough sense to say, you know, maybe this guy's a complete and utter cunt. Like, I'm not a fan of, I don't drink the Kool-Aid, I'm not a fan of the vitriol, but there are some people that you just, like, the more you read about them, the more you're just like, God, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, how absolutely morally deprived are you? But I digress. We have a fully leftist government again this time around, so I don't particularly have much to care about. I think we have the same thing going in our state Congress that split Senate to one side and House to the other, but it doesn't really matter because the Republicans in the state are kind of like the moderates in other states. Like, they're conservatives, but they're not completely insane conservatives. They're not Ted Cruz. It's not fair to pick on him, but he's a good example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I was really hoping he'd get
They tried.
out, but
They tried.
yeah.
It's very hard to unseat sitting senators. Ours won by... Our senator won by 30,000 votes. The margin was just absolutely insane. She just obliterated her opponent. It's Amy Klobuchar, so, you know, she wasn't going to be unseated. Even the Republicans like her in this state, so she won. She won with like 80% of the vote. And I don't remember who. I think the old lieutenant governor kept the seat that what's his face had. I always forget her name. Oh, maybe she wasn't up for it. I thought for some reason I swore that both of our seats were up this time, but it must be next time. That was a close race. District 6 was a blowout. District 8, not shocked. Yeah, Betty won. Betty always wins. The lady who's our rep for our district, I don't think I've ever seen Betty lose. She's been running for years. She was our rep when I started voting at 18, and every time she runs, she wins by like 10%. Just obliterates her opponents. Not even a close race. But this is like the counties she represents in the metro are like the most liberal counties in the entire state. So like basically she's a shoo-in. The only time we'll even have a real race is whatever the next time, like when she retires and have to replace, like whoever replaces her.
Yay, politics.
Right?
Let's see if anything gets done.
Nothing will get done. That is the truth of the beast.
Yeah. Hello, Ghost.
Meow.
So what animes you been watching, bud?
I haven't watched anything. I've been too busy. Literally. Too busy.
Work eating you alive?
Right. I played a lot of Destiny 2, which was fine. That's whatever. It didn't, like, there's nothing to that game. It literally takes, like, 2 days to go through the entire story, which is really non-existent. And all my friends are, like, chomping at the bit to buy the DLC, and I'm like, I think I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've played a little bit of it here and there.
Right. Well, you know what? I did finish, Infinite Stratos. That was whatever. Like, complete non-point. I like the anime, but, like, had obviously thought it was going to get a third season. Because, like, the last episode of season 2, like, ends on, like, a complete cliffhanger.
Well, that kind of sucks.
It's whatever. It was a fun anime. I enjoyed it. He was being chased by a bunch of crazy women. I mean, not literally crazy, but, like, you know, they're crazy for him. So there's a lot of infighting. Because as soon as one of them makes any sort of move or hangs out with them for any amount of time, the rest of them get super angry.
I don't know, that sounds pretty crazy.
Right. But there's a whole thing where, like, in the last, 4 episodes, they introduced, like, one more girl, and it's like, not actually mechas, but they have, like, exosuits that they, like, fight with, and, like, he's helping this girl. It's the little sister of the school's, like, president of the student council, who's, like, the strongest fighter in the entire school or whatever. And she's like, you know, she basically asked the guy, like, will you help my little sister? He's like, oh yeah, sure. And it's like, there's this, like, tandem tag team fight coming up, and he's like, you know, she's like, well, would you be your partner? And he goes to the work to, like, you know, convince the little sister that she should team up with him, and he helps her, you know, like, build her suit and all this stuff. And it's like, then all the other girls, like, the next episode after that, like, you know, they fight or whatever, and, you know, they save the day, and the next episode is, like, the girl who's helping, like, sitting around the other 6, like, main character girls. They all are just, like, you know, like, she just, like, murdered a puppy right in front of them. And it's because they think that her and him are dating. And then when she finally gets it out that, like, no, they're not dating, but she wishes that was the truth, like, they all start laughing. Like, oh, yeah, we all feel the same way. It's like, oh my god, you people are insane. As long as the status quo is upheld, everyone is happy. As soon as it tips in any direction, everyone goes insane. I mean, surprisingly, I enjoyed it, but it was, to say the least, a little on the zany side with the girls being so enthralled.
Okay. I've been watching a show called Bloom Into You.
I've heard people talking about that one.
It's a Yuri Gray sexual anime.
Yuri Gray sexual?
One of the characters has never experienced love, ever.
Okay.
And probably never will, as far as I can see the show going. That's where the gray sexual comes in. Because I'm not outright saying asexual.
Right. Japanese do love to play that trope up. Oh, Unesuke doesn't feel those emotions. Whatever. That's the one, like, is it Yamada-kun is always lazy? It's suggested that the main character and his best friend are actually in love, but, like, never implicitly brought out into the open. And the argument is that Yamada-kun is too lazy to feel love.
Well, this show's more about trying to feel love.
Right. Not gay.
And I'm 5 of 6 episodes so far in, and I'm really enjoying it.
That's good.
It's got some depth to it, and the characters are relatable and very well written, and it's animated really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's got nice sparkly hair.
Of course.
Sorry, I have Desabros muted in a different window, and they're showing wrestling clips for some reason.
Right, I've got it behind the, like, it's on full screen behind the window for our voice chat. So I'm just right.
They were showing the pirate princess doing her finisher that I don't remember the name of.
Well, that's more than I know.
Well, I watch wrestling and you don't.
Right. I do not argue these facts.
That would be silly.
Yeah, I wouldn't get very far. You know way more about it than I do. But what do you know about the Great Gobbler? You're old enough to remember the Great Gobbler, right?
The Great Gobbler?
Right. Like WrestleMania 91? The giant egg in the ring? There's a guy in a turkey costume?
Yes.
The Great Gobbler?
Yes.
That's always my favorite way to see how old like wrestling fans are. Like, and how do you feel about the Great Gobbler versus Doink the Clown?
I haven't always watched wrestling. It's been on and off.
Right.
But yeah, I remember now.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. Like, I don't watch wrestling. Like, I'm not gonna make any excuses. But like, of the shit, like, you know, I had friends that had, like, you know, the greatest moments of wrestling, you know, last 20 years kind of thing. And Doink the wrestling match, Doink the Clown versus the Great Gobbler. Like, what the fuck were they smoking? Like, if I remember correctly, the guy who was in the Gobbler costume was actually, like, a famous wrestler. Like, it's not even, like, a nobody. It was, like, some dude who's, like one of, like, the all-stars of, like, the last 30 years. It's like, what the hell?
There's a cat in my way. I can't look it up. I can't reach my keyboard.
Right.
Oh, I kinda can.
Maybe a different name. I don't know. I thought it was called the Great.
Oh, you're going bye-bye, cat? Okay. Okay. The Great Gobbler is also just a thing.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. The Gobbledygooker. The Gobbledygooker.
Oh god, I forgot how hideous that was.
Ironically making its WWE debut on the very same night as the legendary Undertaker. The Gobbledygooker. God, that's terrifying. That is just The most hilarious costume of all time. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Speaking of scary, have you seen the Philadelphia Flyers new mascot?
Yes, oh my god.
How did I get past?
Oh my god. The guy in the costume is Hector Manuel Guerrero Hernandez. Is the uncle of Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah. That sounds like it.
Not as famous as I thought, but still well-known name.
Oh.
Oh, excuse me.
You're alright. Nothing really interesting in anime news.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, I have Anime News Network, like, hot linked, but there's never really, these days, like, the news that comes out is like, oh, right, yeah, that, whatever. I think there was something I was going to say I saw about Anime News Network. Oh, my favorite online store is not going to be doing a print catalog anymore. The fall catalog I got is the last one they're going to make. There's a note in front of it that states that with all the changes to the world over the last 20 years, that this was going to be their last paper catalog.
I didn't realize that they still put out paper catalogs.
Right. It's not that big. It's just basically listings for like what's coming out in the next like 3-4 months. But like stuff changes so rapidly now that they're not going to do a paper catalog after this season.
Understandable.
Right. I mean, they're teeny tiny now too. They used to be a lot bigger because internet wasn't what it is now. The Bounty Hunter Steel Ultimate Edition of Cowboy Bebop comes out next week. That's kind of cool.
You want to tear apart a best anime of all time list?
Sure.
Hang on.
Okay. Best animes of all time. Here's the list. Everybody loves it. Blah, blah, blah. One Piece is number 25. Yeah. Sure, but whatever.
It's not my piece of cake, but it's not the worst.
Right.
It needs to downplay the boobs.
I'll play the boobs. More titties all the time. Let's go. Giant titties bouncing across the ocean. They have their own flotation device. I agree, though. Like, you look at the characters at the beginning versus the characters now, and it's like, dude, okay, we get it. They have big tits. Jesus Christ. No Game, No Life. Yeah, I'll give them that. I like that show. Good franchise.
I didn't see it, so
yeah, it's an original take. It's a lot of fun. It's a little squicky if you take into consideration that do you want me to spoil something from the movie?
Go ahead.
The brother and sister main characters are the reincarnation of lovers that gave birth to the god of games that controls the reality that is no game, no life. The reason why they can't be apart is because they're the reincarnation of these two lovers. But they're not. It's never implied that the brother and sister in the main series are actually in love with each other. It's just like they're fated lovers reborn kind of thing.
Okay.
It's really squicky because the little girl is I think 11. She's very young. It's okay. Because the thing that she's reincarnated from a battle android. that was given a soul. That's really weird. No Game, No Life Zero is a weird anime movie, I guess, technically. Excuse me. Psycho-Pass? I've never watched Psycho-Pass. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Mm-mm.
It's on my to-watch list, so
Right.
I don't know.
I'm not into, like, weird dramatic anime, so, like, I don't watch a lot of that type of shit.
I love dramatic anime, so...
Right. Akame ga Kill? I have it, I've never watched it.
He's paid money for it. It
Right.
is good enough.
Right.
That's not true. You paid money for crap.
Right, I have. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but yes, you're right. I have paid money for crap. God, what was even the last thing I watched that's just like, this is hot garbage? Probably My Girlfriend is a Gal. Just because the one character is one buddy is a pedophile.
Yeah.
Like in the actual, like, loosest sense of the word, is a pedophile. And it's sold most prominently by the, why can't I get a love letter in my locker? You know, one scrawled in crayon? Just like, there's something wrong with you, boy. Something's so wrong with you.
Who thinks it just takes one pedophile to ruin a story?
Right. I mean, otherwise it's a pretty, paint by numbers, like, getting over people's differences and finding, looking beyond the outer, appearances to see why people are the way they are. Rurouni Kenshin, The Wandering Samurai. I like Rurouni Kenshin. It doesn't hold up as well today, but it's not a bad anime.
I don't really, because it does not hold up well. I like the movies.
See, I find the movies utterly depressing. If you're talking
You know what I love? Depressing anime.
Yeah, so, like, I just think, like, the whole thing about them dying of the plague, it's just being like the dumbest possible ending to the entire series. That's not how the manga ends, but that sure is how they ended the movies. Never gonna adapt it.
Plague.
Oh yeah, they both catch the plague and die. The actual, like, Rurouni Kenshin Samurai X movie is pretty good, but the OVAs are just fucking horrifyingly depressing. Just completely, like, in no way, shape, or form reflect the somewhat comedic but always enjoyable background of the TV series. And the manga's not nearly that depressing either, which is why I was like, when the creator's like, yeah, this is how I wanted it, I'm like, this is not how you wrote it, dude. Like, you did not write it this depressing that, like, he was, like, slowly dying of the plague for 20 years. Like, he catches some disease that I think they write off as, like, as being rabies today, that, like, slowly eating his brain and his warrior willpower keeps him sane for 20 years. I'm just like, what the fuck? Alright, let's see what's on the next page.
Number 20.
One Punch Man. Yeah, I like One Punch Man. I like One Punch
I feel like it should be higher on the list.
Right, yeah. Well, we'll see what's higher on the list, but yeah, I mean, I think One Punch Man's top 10 right now. It's
awesome.
It's a pretty unique take on, like, the shonen anime. Like, you have to get more powerful, but what if the main character was already the most powerful being in the known universe?
Mm-hmm.
What if he was really lazy? Like, was only doing this because money? Inuyasha. Fuck Inuyasha. Seriously.
Exactly.
Fuck Inuyasha.
Exactly.
I'm watching the movies right now. I watched the first two, and then I started watching Infinite Stratos season 2. Because literally the movies are god awful boring. They are dumber than dog shit. I don't say this very often. I have the last season, like the actual final act now. I bought it. I don't even know how I'm gonna get through it. It's not a good anime. It is fucking boring as shit. It's not bad. It's fucking repetitive. It was great, like, I'll say the first season. After that, they just repeated the same thing over. And the movies are the same way. The movies are a prettier version of the TV show, which is can be literally summed up, and as Toonami made fun of, Kagome, Inuyasha, Kagome, Inuyasha, Kagome, Inuyasha. Ad nauseum for 8 fucking seasons, 4 movies. Inuyasha could be cut down to 50 episodes, and it might actually be kind of interesting, just because they would have cut out all of the fluff that doesn't have anything to do with the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Trigun. I like Trigun. It has not aged well. I'm sorry. I know people are like, Trigun's a classic. Trigun has not aged.
No,
it hasn't aged well.
Both the way the plot is laid out and the animation and it could use a redoing. I am all for a redoing of Trigun.
Of that would be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It'd be if all they did was went, you know what? Trigun Ultimate. Holy shit. That could be the craziest fucking thing in the universe. Because the actual manga is, like, stupid crazy. Like, that's some batshit, you know, drink the Kool-Aid type storytelling. I mean, like, it's not that the anime's, like, varied or, you know, like, strayed that far from the main storyline, but, like, there were some liberties taken because they were not done yet. The guy finished the manga, like, what was it, like 2 years after the anime aired. Like, I love the idea of Vashta Stampede. I like the character. I like the background or the storyline. But, like, or the setting, I'm sorry. I was like, what is that called? I love the setting. I love the characters. The characters are fun. There's nothing wrong with the characters. But I agree. It needs a redo. It needs to be brought up to modern storytelling standards. It just doesn't. We expect so much more out of our stories today than we ever did then. Samurai Champloo. You know, I watched it. I don't remember anything about it. I seem to remember liking it, but I watched bits and pieces of it.
Well, I still love Samurai Champloo. It's pretty good.
All I remember was that she was looking for the samurai that smelt the sunflowers. My immediate thought was, but sunflowers don't have a scent.
Shh.
Yeah, I know.
You're ruining the plot.
Right. Soul Eater. I like the concept. Anime needs a redo. Like the idea of Soul Eater is cool. It's one of those ones where they weren't done writing the manga, so they kind of like went off on their own little tangent at the end, and it doesn't like redo it. Or finish it. I don't give a shit. But like it needs they need to cut out like the last 20 episodes and start from there start fresh, like with the actual storyline. Tokyo Ghoul. I never watched Tokyo Ghoul. I'm sure you probably have.
It's very meh. I've only watched some of it because it's very meh.
Okay. Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, okay. Seminal classic, Cowboy Bebop. Like I stated before, Bounty Hunter Steel Ultimate Collection coming out like Tuesday, Wednesday. It's like the 30th anniversary this year.
It's a classic. It should be higher on the list in my opinion.
Right, 14's kind of low for like universally like accepted as like this is the first anime you should watch.
Yeah,
Like when people like trying to get when anime fans are trying to get their non-anime friends to watch anime, this is what most people seem to put on TV.
Yeah, it's a good mixture of
Western
story,
ideas.
animation,
Right.
and having just a bit of the anime pitfalls.
Right.
Just a bit.
Right.
That way you can get them in there.
Right. It's a soft opening to the world of anime.
Mm-hmm.
Fullmetal Alchemist, yeah, I'd like Fullmetal Alchemist. Standard procedure: watch the first half of the first series, and then the rest of series 2. Skip the movies. I mean, you must watch everything, but it's not required because everything after was it like the island arc, where they recount being left on the island by their teacher in the first series, like that's all fucking, like, they made it up as they went because the manga writer wasn't even done.
Yeah, I haven't watched Brotherhood.
Brotherhood's good. I like how
I've heard good things.
And Ed makes like the most amazing choices at the end of the series. Like, literally beats God at his own game because he makes the ultimate sacrifice, and it's just like the most hilarious thing ever. Like, first human being to ever make that choice, and when he does, it's just like God's like, "Congratulations, you win." Like, oh, okay. Code Geass. Code Geass is like, it should be good. I don't like Code Geass.
I hate Code Geass.
I don't like Code Geass because the character is fucking stupid.
They're all fucking stupid. It's badly written. It
reads like a high school kid's manifesto about power fantasy.
I don't understand why. Why? Just why?
Right? I don't even know what else to say beyond that. Like, it's pure unbridled, like, power fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Bleach, I don't care about Bleach. I don't have anything to say about it.
I don't like Bleach, but I don't like most shonen.
Right. So we're up to 10? Wow, okay. So, Fairy Tail, I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry, I don't.
I don't remember why, but I am intentionally not watching it.
Alright. Sword Art Online. I own season 1.
No.
I might watch it. I don't know.
Just no.
That bad, huh?
I just don't like it, and I'm not gonna try to watch all the newer stuff or anything. It's creepy. And boring at the same time.
That's fun. Dragon Ball Z. Okay, I like Dragon Ball. Like, I like the concept of Dragon Ball, but I gotta admit that after watching, like, modern Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball Super, and then some of Dragon Ball Z, I really like OG Dragon Ball the best.
Yeah.
Like, when they weren't worried about being super serious Ultimate Fighters of Ultimate Destiny, it was kind of like silly, goofy, cartoony. That's, like, I feel like when Dragon Ball is at its strongest when they're being kind of cartoony, very Looney Tunes with the characters, and not so like, I am the most powerful. No, I am the most powerful. Eat my Spirit Bomb. Eat my Kamehameha Wave.
I'm not saying that Dragon Ball Z shouldn't be on, like, someone's top whatever list. Just
Right.
probably not in the top 10.
It's one of those things, like, honestly, Dragon Ball should have ended easily after the Cell Saga, but it could have even ended after Frieza.
It's another issue of too much crap.
It prints its own money, therefore we'll keep writing about it.
And number 7.
Naruto. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. It's a short anime, whatever.
I gave it 6 episodes and then I didn't care for it. Again, I don't like most shonen.
Attack on Titan, too horrifyingly depressing for me. I like it. It's a neat show. Just too gory, too sad, too just brutal. I'm not into shit that's like, hey, let's watch people suffer for 50 episodes.
I have not seen it.
You ever watched Walking Dead?
Yes, The Walking Dead got boring really fast.
Yeah, congratulations. Walking Dead, instead of zombies, giant monsters. I think that's my closest Western approximation. It's The Walking Dead. It's like people fucking each other over instead of monsters fucking. Because, like, as long as everybody works together, nobody dies. But everybody's got their little power fantasies and their power plays and shit. And it's like, yeah. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, number 5. Yeah, it's Brotherhood. Yeah, it's top 10. Brotherhood's very good.
I already said I hadn't watched it.
Take my word on this as somebody who just finished it like in the last 6 months. It's good. I haven't watched the OVAs or like the movies or anything, but it's good.
Yeah, that's one of those things where the hubby and I would be watching it together, and he doesn't watch a lot of anime.
Right.
And where can I even stream that?
You can't. It went back to Aniplex. It's not available for streaming. They don't do streaming.
Fucking Aniplex.
Right.
Well, number 4.
OG Dragon Ball. I agree. Dragon Ball is top 10.
Yes.
And actually, like, what's really funny is I think the part I like the most is the end of Dragon Ball, but like into the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. Like, Goku's an adult, but it's not. It's like before he's like the most powerful being in the entire universe. I think that's when it was the most interesting. It's still there's still some comedic, but like, it's nice to see like the finalized like what we know the characters to look like. Number 3, Pokemon. It's Pokemon. Whatever. I'm not. It's a juggernaut. It's the Mickey Mouse of Japanese anime. Like, it can't die.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a really long time, since I was like a teenager.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon! Black.
I mean, I even play Pokemon Go, but I don't watch the show.
Right? Well, it's not like we're very, very, very far outside the target demographic for the TV show at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2.
Future Diary. I own it. I haven't watched it. I don't imagine it's what I would call the second greatest anime of all time. There are so many other animes that could probably easily fill that spot.
I would probably put it in a top 10 list, but not in the top 5.
Right. I would put... This won't make me very popular, but I would say I'm shocked that Girls in Panzer didn't make it into the top 10. And everybody hates on me for it, but I really think Girls in Panzer is like one of the best series to come out of the last 20 years of anime. In that it's a fucking dark horse. Like, you don't think an anime about girls driving tanks in a competitive sports setting would be that interesting. It's fucking amazing. And everyone I've ever introduced to it who's like laugh at the concept, watch it and go, that is really good. That's a really like heartfelt story. It's well written. Like, it's obviously cute girls doing things, but it's like one of the more well-written, like actually got substance. They grow, all of these characters grow as people in the show. Like, I'm shocked they didn't make it in like anywhere into this list. I mean, there's a lot of animes I've watched that in like the last 20 years that I would stick in the top 25 of like, let's say, like 1990 to today. That like they picked really mainstream stuff so far. I haven't watched Future Diary, so I don't really have anything to say about it, but I'll take your word on it. That's really good, like top 10. Death Note is number 1. I would not make Death Note the number 1 anime of all time. I'm sorry.
Death Note would not appear on any anime list that I make.
Like, I feel like it's way, way, way overblown for what it is.
I hate it.
I'm shocked that Kill the Kill didn't make it on that list. Gurren Lagann didn't make it on that list. Ghost in the Shell is nowhere on that list. Like
nowhere.
And when I say Ghost in the Shell, I'm not even talking just standalone complex. I mean like the franchise. Ghost in the Shell did not make it on that list. Ghost in the Shell is like a seminal classic. Gundam was nowhere on that list. And I'm not picking like a specific Gundam, but just like the franchise of Gundam didn't make it on that list. Gundam Wing is a goddamn institution. Neon Genesis Evangelion, which I think is fucking overrated, but is a very, very well-written show. Wasn't anywhere on that list. Like I said, a personal pick of mine, Girls in Panzer. K-On! Is nowhere on that list. And I know, oh yeah, Girls in a Light Music Band, but like, it revitalized, like, the entire, like, you know, like, you could have cute girls doing things that actually have, like, a storyline. Sailor Moon is nowhere on that list. Sailor Moon is literally the reason we have, like, girl power anime. Like, what? How did Sailor Moon not make it on that list? Armored Police Pat Labor is nowhere on that list. The entire reason we have any amount of like Next Sunday AD like tech shows, you know, like not Gundam, but like more than like, but not quite as sophisticated as like Ghost in the Shell with like cybernetics. It's more like construction vehicle robots. Like, they're big, but they're not like super fast, awesome War Machine Gundams that can like do somersaults and shit. What else? Love, Chernobyl, and Other Delusions is nowhere on that list. That's like a watershed for like just like people, kids growing up, being goofy. Like you get to see high school kids growing out of that awkward, like they want to feel like that feeling everybody goes through of like wanting to be great and pretending to be great, but then like you're getting older and you're realizing like nobody finds that acceptable. It's very like, to me it's very like, it hits home for a lot of people, especially a lot of kind of people who are going to be watching this stuff. And so I was shocked that didn't make it on the list. I think Lucky Star is kind of overblown, but I'm a little shocked that didn't make it on the list.
Now he's looking around his room.
I'm just like looking at what I've got. Because I mean, I've seen so much stuff here. Where's Gunbuster? Gunbuster's like the reason we even have Gynex is like Gunbuster and then Diebuster. Where's FLCL? Where the hell was FL Seal on this list? There's no FL Seal. That's everybody's favorite. I've never seen somebody say like no one should watch FL Seal. Like everybody should give it a try. Not everybody's gonna like it, but everybody should give it a try. But don't watch the new ones. I'm told the new ones are just hot garbage.
Oh, I'm still gonna watch them when I get around to it.
No, I plan on it too, but I'm told that they're not good. They're not good. Oh. But yeah, like I am in some ways just kind of shocked that these people think that those are the greatest animes of all time.
Well, that's their opinion. Their asshole opinion.
Little shocked that Madoka Magica was nowhere on that list. I will say that after seeing the movies, I really like Madoka Magica. I like where they went with it. It's a very strong ring cycle. I'm actually a little impressed by how they wrapped it up at the end of Rebellion. And it was really hard to see it as any way other than a happy ending, despite how like you're supposed to take the way that the last movie ended as like this was the worst possible thing that could happen. I'm going, I don't know if this is the worst possible thing that could happen. I mean, if you were allowed to live in general, like, you know, growing up happiness, like your family's all together, everybody's healthy, you're going to school, like, is that really the worst possible reality that you could live in? Like, the way the series has ended so far, because obviously now they're making more, at least I think that's what I heard, is that basically all the suffering that I always forget her name, purple girl, not Mami, not Madoka, and Sayaka. Homura goes through, she becomes the devil. And like she's supposed to be pure evil because all she knows is suffering after all these repetitions of her life, that suffering has made her a witch beyond witches, that she's the devil itself. And I'm like, yeah, but what she does is she splits the human part of Madoka off of the goddess, and she takes all of the souls of the 5 girls, and they get to like live their lives like none of this shit ever happened. And there's this whole thing about how eventually Madoka is going to wake up to the fact that she's the goddess and go back to the way she was, and then they'll be enemies because she's, you know, been holding the human part of Madoka apart from the will, the force of the universe part of Madoka that's the goddess. And it's like, I don't know that I would call that a bad ending. Like, that's the worst possible universe. Like, is it a little dark? Yeah, sure. I won't argue that fact. But I feel like it's one of those things where it's hard to call her like malevolent evil when she's like, you're supposed to take it as that she's being evil because she's basically chopping up like the universal force of good, but like her intentions are good. And so it's always this kind of like, I was like, this is such a, like, it's just like, this is somebody looking out like at the universe and just like the biggest middle finger to like the forces of the universe of like, this girl, like, she's watched this girl suffer like 1,000 times over, and so she decides that she's just gonna like, she has control of reality now, He makes the rules, and so Madoka's gonna, live her life like normal, and everybody's, everybody gets to go home happy, and I'm like, yeah, it's not reality. It's not like, but she decides what reality is, so it's kind of, I don't know. I just felt like that was really like it really turned the entire genre of like magical girls on their head. And also, where the hell was Cardcaptor Sakura? In that list, nowhere did they bring up any of what I would call like famous girl power storylines. No Moon, no Precure, no Cardcaptor Sakura, no nothing.
It had a lot of male-driven, not exclusively shonen, but action titles.
Right. I mean, Lyrical Nanoha, My Hime, Little Witch Academia, Yuki Yuna as a Hero. I mean, those are newer, but I mean, no, Steins Gate. Steins Gate is a classic. I mean, okay, people make fun of it. It's goofy. It's silly. I liked Steins Gate. I really did. And I feel like it had a lot of heart. And that's rare in anime today, is a lot of like, how much money can we, get out of this? And so, I'm shocked that didn't make it on the list. I mean, it's obviously not as famous as it was back like 15 years ago, but no Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya? That was a juggernaut for a while.
Yeah, I'll find points.
Like, going for like more current animes, Familiar of Zero was really, really good. I would put Familiar of Zero like in the top 25 that I've seen in my life. Like in the last 10 years, Interviews with Monster Girls. Fucking loved Interviews with Monster Girls.
That show was so adorable.
That show was amazing. No, Toradora. I love Toradora. Like, okay, it's kind of silly, but like, such a great show about two dorky loners like getting it together. God, what else? I mean, no Ghibli films. I was shocked by that. They didn't bring up any of the Ghibli films. It's like, hey, this is like, top. I mean, like, I have this like rule that drives people crazy, but it's like, if like people like, I want to watch Grave of the Fireflies. Like, well, if we watch Grave of the Fireflies, then we got to watch My Neighbor Totoro, because that's how it's supposed to be seen. They're like, what? I'm like, in 1992, when they showed Grave of the Fireflies, right after that, they would show My Neighbor Totoro so that people wouldn't have to like leave completely depressed. Because the Grave of the Fireflies is like stupid depressing. And they didn't even bring any of that up. No Spirited Away, no Princess Mononoke, Porco Rosso, Up on Poppy Hill. I love Up on Poppy Hill. One I haven't seen but I'm told is very good is The Wind Also Rises.
I haven't seen that one yet either.
I haven't seen like any of the ones made in like the last 5 years. So it's like, the last one I watched I think was The Secret Life of Ariadne, so I haven't seen like The Wind Also Rises. I don't remember what came out after that. Mushishi is a famous one that I'm a little shocked didn't make it on the list. That's like calming the anime. Just kind of thinking about ones I've watched. Great Teacher Onizuka, very good anime. Not well loved today, but I think it holds up really well. Lupin the Third, like they're still making Lupin the Third. That didn't make it on the list. No Helsing, no not Bakano. Bakano would have been good too. No Black Lagoon, no Yu Yu Hakusho. God, what else? I mean, maybe Eureka 7. Oh, Panic. No Tenchi Muyo. Spice and Wolf. I was also kind of shocked they didn't bring up My Hero Academia because that's such a cultural.
What?
Oh, I thought I closed it by accident. I clicked off the screen. I'm like, oh shit, whoops.
Trump threatens to what?
Oh boy.
You better not be a video.
Always video. Non-stop video.
Oh, that's right. He's blaming the fire on poor forest management.
Obviously.
Like, dude, fuck you. And is threatening to not give out any sort of, FEMA or federal payments to
What a
assist.
quality human being.
Unless we find a remedy for this. We can't. It's climate change, dipshit.
But climate change isn't real, you know. Something the liberals came up with. I mean, obviously, all the snow we're getting is definitely not a fluke at all. I mean, what? Everybody goes, it wasn't me, it was the one-armed man. Yeah, whatever.
No, don't you autoplay.
Yes, autoplay all the time, non-stop.
Oh, did you hear what happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Yeah, she fell and broke her ribs.
Yeah. She'll be fine.
Hopefully. I hate to ask this, but can we possibly call it? It's after midnight and I have work in 6 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we can call it.
Yeah. I looked down at the clock in my corner of my computer screen. I'm like, I have to be up for work in 6 hours. I should probably get some sleep.
Thank you once again for listening to the super happy fun Jabbertron Tea Party podcast with Kiki and Cupcake. Did you have a lovely cup of tea while listening to this episode? I hope you did. Farewell, my fellow internet beings.
Good night, Cupcake.
Good night, Kiki.
Transmission terminated.